Henry Danger is coming up next, right here on Nicktoons. Now it's time for Henry Danger, right here on Nicktoons. There's more from Henry Danger coming up right after the break on Nicktoons. Now let's get back to Henry Danger, right here on Nicktoons.
Up next, it's Space Jam 2 on Toons. Now it's time for Space Jam 2 on Toons. There's more Space Jam 2 after the break on Toons. You're watching Space Jam 2 on Toons. Up next, it's Robot and Monster on Toons. Now it's time for Robot and Monster on Toons. There's more Robots and Monster after the break on Toons. You're watching Robots and Monster on Toons. Up next, it's Robots and Monster on Toons. Now it's time for Robots and Monster on Toons. There's more Robots and Monster after the break on Toons. You're watching Robots and Monster on Toons.
Hey, it's nearly time for Harvey Beaks. Up next on Toons. Time for Harvey Beaks. Only on Toons. Where else?
And next, Wax on Toons.
Up next, it's Dudeland on Nicktoons. Now it's time for Dudeland on Nicktoons. There's more Dudeland after the break on Nicktoons. You're watching Dudeland on Nicktoons. Now we are back to Dudeland on Nicktoons.
No, it's on. There. On Toons.
Up next, it's Rabbit's Invasion. On Toons. Now it's time for Rabbit's Invasion on Toons. There's more Rabbit's Invasion after the break on Toons. You're watching Rabbit's Invasion on Toons.
Now it's time Rabbit Invasion on Toons.
Rocco's Modern Life. Toons. Up next, it's Rocco's Modern Life.
The Rugrats are all grown up. Up next on Toons. Aw, now it's time to see the Rugrat kids all grown up on Toons.
There's more Hey Arnold after the break on Toons. You're watching Hey Arnold on Toons.
Now it's time for Ren and Stimpy on Toons.
Up next, it's Fat Boy and Jum Jum on Toons. Up next, it's Invader Zim on Toons.
Now it's time for Invader Zim on Toons. Now it's time for Sanjay and Craig on Toons. Up next, it's Sanjay and Craig on Toons. There's more Fairly Odd Parents after the break on Toons. You're watching Fairly Odd Parents on Toons.